His name was David, 27 years old, sharp mind, good job, the kind of man who showed up early and delivered every single time. But there was something nobody could see from the outside. There was a woman. Her name does not matter. What matters is how she made him feel. When she was present, she was everything. Warm, attentive, close. But then, without warning, she would pull back. Messages left unread for days. Plans canceled at the last minute. Responses that were short, distant, cold. And then, just as suddenly, she would return. Warm again, close again, like nothing had happened. David did not understand it. So he did what most men do. He tried harder. He checked his phone before his feet hit the floor every morning. He checked it at breakfast, on the way to work, at lunch, at 3 p.m. when the afternoon slowed down, the moment he got home, before bed. 16 hours of his day, quietly organized around one question. Has she replied? She almost never had. One evening, David sat down to work on something important. A business idea he had been carrying for 3 months. Something real. Something that could change his life. He opened his laptop. Then he checked his phone. Nothing. He put it down and stared at the blank document. 30 minutes passed. He had written nothing. Not because the idea was gone. Not because he lacked the skill. Because somewhere in the back of his mind a program was running. One he never chose to install. The quiet, anxious loop of waiting for a woman who was not waiting for him. He closed the laptop. And in that moment something cracked open. He had been doing this for months. Pouring his most valuable resource into someone who picked it up only when it was convenient for her. He picked up his journal and wrote one question. If my attention were money, how broke would I be right now? The answer terrified him. Let us talk about what David discovered. Your attention is not just a resource. It is the only resource that cannot be replaced, cannot be borrowed, cannot be earned back once it is gone. Money lost can be remade. But the hours David spent in that anxious waiting loop, those are gone forever. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do." But a man cannot decide what he would be when his mind is permanently occupied by what someone else is doing with theirs. In the world we live in today, this problem is more dangerous than it has ever been. Every app on your phone was built by rooms full of brilliant people, with one goal, not to connect you, not to serve you, to capture your attention and hold it. Your focus is the product. You are not the customer. You are the inventory. And a woman who runs hot and cold, who pulls you close and then disappears, who makes you feel chosen one week and invisible the next. She is doing to your attention exactly what the algorithm does, consuming without contributing, taking without depositing. Swami Sivananda warned that a man who cannot guard his vital energy from people and systems designed to drain it will find himself perpetually empty. Not dramatically, quietly, the way David found himself staring at a blank document, wondering where his power had gone. Here is what David did. Not a 30-day challenge, not a dramatic confrontation, not a long message explaining his feelings. One thing. He performed what I call an attention audit. One piece of paper, 2 columns. On the left, every person and platform that regularly received his attention. On the right, what each one had actually deposited into his life in the last 90 days. Not what they might deposit someday. Not what they deposited 2 years ago. What they had actually contributed to who he was becoming right now. The right side was almost entirely blank. That piece of paper did not make David angry. It made him clear, and clarity is the beginning of sovereignty. Machiavelli wrote that a man who is not his own master cannot be master of anything else. David had never been taught that mastery begins with the governance of attention, that the most powerful thing a man can do today is decide, deliberately, and without apology, who and what earns access to his conscious mind. After the audit, David made 3 decisions. First, he turned off every notification on his phone except calls. Second, he gave himself one single 20-minute window each day to check messages. Outside that window, phone face down, silent. Third, he stopped investing emotional energy in a woman who had shown him consistently that she valued it only when nothing better was available. Not with anger, not with a speech, simply by redirecting that energy toward his work, his training, his own becoming. Here is your recipe. Step 1. Perform your attention audit today. 1 piece of paper, 2 columns. Every person and platform on the left. What they have actually deposited into your growth in the last 90 days on the right. Let the paper tell you the truth your emotions have been protecting you from. Step 2. Kill the notification reflex. Every notification is a small surrender of sovereignty. Turn them all off except the ones that serve your mission. A man who jumps every time his phone vibrates is a man on a leash he chose to wear. Step 3. Create 1 communication window, 20 to 30 minutes, 1 time per day. Outside that window you are unavailable. Not cold, not rude, sovereign. Step 4. Invest your attention like capital. Before you give it, ask 1 question. Is this person making me more of who I am becoming, or less? If the answer is less, withdraw immediately, without guilt, without explanation. Step 5. Fill the reclaimed space with your mission. The moment you take back those hours from the waiting loop, pour them directly into your work, your channel, your training, your craft. The compound interest on focused creative attention is the most powerful force available to a man who has chosen to build something real. David never sent an angry message. He never confronted her. He never asked for an explanation. He simply stopped paying with a currency she had never appreciated. 6 months later, the business idea that had sat as a blank document on his laptop, the one he could not write a single word of, while his attention was owned by someone who treated him as an option, was generating its first real income. Not because David became smarter, not because his circumstances changed, because he stopped spending his most valuable asset on a woman whose account was permanently empty. Your attention is the only real currency you own. Every check cycle is a withdrawal. Every notification you chase is a fee. Every person you wait on who is not waiting on you is a debt you are paying with the hours of your one irreplaceable life. The question is not whether you can afford to reclaim it. The question is whether you can afford not to. If you are the kind of man who felt something shift while watching this, not just in your mind but in the way you are going to look at your phone tonight, then you are already different from the man who pressed play. Subscribe to Lone Warriors. This is where men come to reclaim what the world has been quietly stealing. This is not a channel, it is a sovereignty school, and enrollment is free for the man who is serious. The war starts within,